So a few years ago, I used to create these videos where I would DM my subscribers' girlfriends or even casual dating partners to see if they would cheat. This is known as a loyalty test. Despite the recent criticism, I felt like I was doing a service to the community and I actually saved a lot of guys' relationships. Therefore, I continued to do it every single year, usually around this time, the holidays. I would leverage the idea of traveling back to the city because my family was there whenever we were messaging. But after a few years of doing this, I realized that there was a dark side, which is why you haven't seen a loyalty test video on this channel for years. But before I tell you why, here's a few things you need to understand. Up first, every single loyalty test I've ever posted was real. Sometimes guys will say, oh, this was fake or this was crafted. No, every single text I read, every single message I sent was to a real person, and I did get permission from that guy to use the concept within the video. But sometimes, the guys will get upset or they'll go back on the word and tell me, please Austin, remove the video or remove the messages, because they felt embarrassed even though it was anonymous. But just know, every single message was real. Now, like I said before, I primarily did this through Instagram. And back in 2020, 2021, 2022, I've realized that the access to people was a whole lot easier. And nowadays, it's more difficult. They have so many DM restrictions, private accounts, message requests, message inbox, to where even just regular DMing a girl is a lot more harder, and more than likely, they won't see the message. And so I believe that's why in that time frame, why a lot of success was seen or a lot of failing or cheating happened was because they just saw the message. But like I said, nowadays you'll send a message, and if she has a private account, she has to go through all these hoops to find the message. They have like 3 to 4 different inbox now, which is like super weird, and it makes it more difficult not only for loyalty tests, but honestly just DMing girls in general. A few years ago, I ran an experiment, DMing 50 fitness girls, or I DM'd this girl, whatever. And even then I got pretty good results, even though I was doing an experiment. However, I guaranteed if I was to run that experiment now, it would probably be a whole lot different, just because the way the DM structure is set up. It's just so difficult. Now, the girls sometimes do see the messages, but they see it weeks later, like weeks later. And to my knowledge, she passed. So I'll message the guy back and I'll be like, she passed, good job, man, you're all good to go. And then he's like, okay, cool. But then like 6 weeks later, she's like, hey, or like sends me a message back. And I'm like, man, come on, Instagram, y'all make it so difficult now. Like, why is it this hard to access somebody? Now, of course, I had an attractive Instagram account with a lot of followers that I would leverage, the nice pictures, I'm handsome myself, but I also leveraged the fact that I had verification. 2020, 2021, even 2022 to my knowledge, the verification, it was a status symbol. But nowadays with Meta, you can buy the access to the verification. And this was just a few years ago when they implemented this. But now I feel like it's lost its status. It's lost its power that it had in the DM. A few years ago before, if she saw you had a check mark and it's in her DMs, that's the first one that's coming up. That's the first one she's noticing. But nowadays, especially if she has any degree of clout, if she even has, I would say like 1.5 to 2,000 followers. Like, verification marks are all up in there. Now keep in mind, it's always been that way. If she's borderline attractive, she probably had verification check marks in her DMs, especially if she had a public account. But nowadays, like I said, everything's just getting diminished and harder to access. And the verification doesn't really have as much power as what it used to have. So when I did do a lot of these loyalty tests, and I would say about 60% of the women failed, the guys will always ask me this one question: what should I do, bro? And keep in mind, I literally sent the text of your girl agreeing to go out on a date with me, giving her Snapchat, giving her number, flirting with me, sending me hard eyes, following me back, allowing me to follow her, and you're asking me, what should I do, bro? And even though I felt like I was saving a lot of relationships, sometimes I felt like I didn't, because these guys were trying to justify the fact of still staying with her even though she disrespected you. And in some cases, the guys didn't even call them out on it whatsoever. They'll just be like, okay, bro, well, I'm not sure if I should tell her about it. Just let me know what I should do. What would you do in the situation? I'm like, bro, like, what do you mean, what would I do in the situation? I would leave her. That, like, there's literally no other option. And that also showed me just how not in abundance a lot of guys are. Just how in scarcity a lot of men are, especially with, particular women, even sometimes girls that we're casually dating, man. Now keep in mind, casual dating, she has no loyalty owed to you, but sometimes they'll go out their way to try and say they're loyal, so that's why guys have to get it tested too. But I think that was just a crazy experience, how most guys would just ask me, what should they do? In rare cases, the guy would be like, thanks, bro, I'm breaking up with her, it's over, and then they get it done. But a lot of guys are just in scarcity, man. It's absolutely mind-blowing. But it's not only that, the girlfriends get mad at me. The girlfriends actually like go off on me after the guy confronts them on it, if they even do. So for example, girl fails, she flirts with me, gives me her number, whatever. I'll tell the guy will go back to the woman, confront her, she'll come back to me. First thing, they always unsend all the messages, like unsend every single message. I'm like, I already screenshotted it. But then they go off on me, sending me voice notes, long paragraphs. You shouldn't break apart a relationship. You have no idea what's going on in people's lives. Like almost every single time it gets that way. And I'm like, yo, you gotta look in the mirror, sweetheart. I'm just a messenger. I was sent out to do a job. You disrespected your relationship. If anything, I think they should get mad at their boyfriend, not me. Why are you getting mad at me? Get mad at yourself and your boyfriend. Your boyfriend's the one who hired me to do it. It's so much that goes into it. And that's why I decided to increase the prices with it. So keep in mind, I still do it, but at a charge at this point in time, because guys don't realize the amount of BS and the dark side that comes with doing these tests. Not only do I have to deal with drama and back and forth, and sometimes the guys will even ruin the test overall. You know, we have a set way we go about stuff, and the guys will ruin the whole entire test by trying to be an intermediary, by trying to tell the girl like, hey, did anybody message you? Or like being too invested in the overall process itself. And then that kind of blows my cover. That has happened multiple times too. Like there's so many downsides with it. But if you are a guy who wants clarity, or maybe you're still curious about if your casual dating partner, or even your relationship, if you have a girl you're talking to, maybe a girl who you're vetting, and you wanna see if she's actually loyal to you, then I'm gonna leave you a link down below if you do wanna order a loyalty test. I'm only doing a few of them. I'm probably not gonna do the service that much longer just because of all these negatives that I mentioned. But if you do want a little bit of clarity, if you do wanna see how she reacts, then click the link down below and you can schedule one with me. We'll be discreet. I'm not posting any more videos on it, completely anonymous, no screenshots anywhere. I might talk about the experience, but that's about it. And honestly, I wish I could do this. I wish I could hire Drake, Chris Brown, any of these high status celebrities, even some athletes, and pay them to DM the girls I was talking to, or my girl, whatever, right? I would love to do it. I wanna see how she reacts, right? I just wanna see. And I believe a woman really shows her loyalty to a man whenever she purely just focuses on you. No hypergamy, no monkey branching, though that's in their nature. If she's truly loyal to you, even when a high status or a more attractive man, or any sort of man who has a little bit more leverage than you comes in the picture, but she still focuses on you, even if you're just talking to her, even if you guys have only been out on a few dates in some cases, then that, I believe, is a good sign. So it's not only looking for red flags to see if she would cheat, but more so looking for the green flags to see if this is a girl you should take seriously. Anyways, nowadays, I'm more focused on helping guys become undeniable, to where you wouldn't even think twice about hiring a loyalty test. You're so attractive, you're so high status, you're such an undeniably attractive man who has his game on lock, who has his woman on lock, that she wouldn't even consider looking any man's way. Like literally every man's invisible. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And I believe through time, if you're watching this video, we can get every guy to that point. Absolutely. Take action. Remember, if you do want a loyalty test, I'll still leave a link down below, but this is the dark side to it. See you guys in the next video. Peace.